Nepal police yesterday arrested some 120 Chinese nationals from different parts of the capital. The arrest has surely raised many eyebrows on the back of the cyber hacking incident and now the involvement in some illicit transactions in Nepal. There is a general call for thorough investigation into the case of these Chinese nationals. Good morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan and these are the headlines of the hour. The Parliament's Public Accounts Committee to investigate the government's decision to lease Nepal Trust land to Yeti Group at a minimal price. Massive foul play suspected. Police arrest over 120 Chinese nationals from the capital over allegations of suspicious activities. Arrest raises several questions. Boeing fires its chief executive Dennis Muilenburg in a bid to restore confidence in the firm after two deadly crashes involving 737 MAX plane. Victims' families welcome move. And Chitwan Rhinos taking on Kathmandu Goldens in a crucial tie under Pokhara Premier League today. Kathmandu in a must-win situation. The Parliament's Public Accounts Committee is to investigate the government's decision to lease the land of Nepal Trust to Yeti Group at a minimal price. The committee's meeting held in Singhdarbad decided to check the official documents regarding the lease, whereas the lawmakers from both the ruling Nepal Communist Party and the main opposition, Nepali Congress, have raised questions on the issues at the National Assembly. The committee is to investigate the government's decision to lease around 3,000 ropenis of land in Pokhara and 2 ropenis of land in Darbar Marg to Yeti Group. The Council of Ministers had decided to extend Yeti Group's lease period by 25 years 2 weeks ago. The Yeti Group still has 6 years before its previous lease contract expires. The group has leased 2,971 ropenis of land to Pokhara Forest Resort. Likewise, the cabinet had also decided to lease almost 2 ropenis of land in Darbar Marg to Tham Serco Trekking, owned by Yeti Group for 30 years. The Parliament's Public Accounts Committee has asked the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers to provide relevant documents for the investigation within a week. The parliamentarians from the main opposition, Nepali Congress, have suspected the roles of the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister for the amendment of the clauses related to the lease and the contract. Last year, the government had amended the acts related to Nepal Trust that would facilitate the trust to invest its assets for long-term commercial purpose. The police have arrested over 120 Chinese nationals from the capital for their alleged involvement in illicit transactions. The police arrested the Chinese nationals who entered Nepal through third countries based on a tip-off for their involvement in illicit economic transactions conducted in rented residential houses in different parts of the capital. The Metropolitan Police arrested 120 Chinese nationals yesterday from the capital's Manamaizu, Maharajganj, Buralinkanta, among other places. According to the police, they lived in a group of 10 to 15 people in a single house and paid rent up to 500,000 rupees per month. The police have collected more than 500 laptops and mobile phones from them and have suspected that the arrested Chinese nationals might have been involved in organized crimes. According to police source, the arrestees have been found to be involved in gambling, fraud and cyber hacking. The police have arrested the Chinese nationals in coordination with the Chinese embassy as they were said to have used Nepalese territory for the money laundering. A team of the Special Bureau of Police to investigate terrorism-related activities, the CIB and the Metropolitan Police was deployed for the arrest of the Chinese nationals. The police had arrested 6 Chinese nationals on 31st of August for the alleged involvement in hacking the banking system of the country and retrieving 25 million rupees from ATMs of different banks. Likewise, the police have arrested Chinese nationals in other criminal activities including drug and gold smuggling as well. And we'll take a short break here. For more news, do stay with us. Welcome back. The death of a woman in her late 30s in the capital's Buralinkanta last Saturday by a speeding vehicle driven by a youngster driving under the influence of alcohol has given way to a number of unanswered questions. We have a report.
Leela Devkota, aged 38, died when she was hit by a speeding car last Saturday morning in the capital's Buralinkanta. The man behind the wheel, 21-year-old Prithvi Malla, was heavily drunk along with his friend Karish Maske. Several locals confirmed that 2 more passengers who fled the scene were also in the vehicle. They have been identified by a reliable source as Paramita Rana and Manisha Maharjan. The driving person, Malla, a student in the US, was reportedly in Nepal for the winter break. The deceased, Leela Devkota, who came from a working-class family, had 3 children. She was returning from a temple nearby during the time of the accident. She was critically injured and passed away while receiving treatment at Neuro Hospital. The car crashed into a pole and slammed into a parked motorcycle after hitting Devkota.
उनीहरु चाहिँ हामीले त्यो केटीहरु चाहिँ दुईटा गाडीमै देखेको हो अनि त्यति घटना भइसकेपछि उनीहरु बिस्तारै ओर्लिनु भयो बिस्तारै ओर्लेर क्रस यता आउनु भयो अनि यहाँ आएर बस्नु भयो मैले सोधि अनि बहिनी तपाईको दाइ हो भने होइन होइन भन्नु भयो अनि गाडी नि तपाईको हो कार भनेर भने त्यो पनि हैन भनेर फोन एकदम नर्भस भएर फोन गर्न लागिराख्नु भएको थियो फोनै लागिरा थिएन उसको
Prithvi Malla and Karish Maske were both taken into custody, but the police released Maske as legally the police are not bound to keep the fellow passenger in custody. Malla is still in custody and if proven guilty, faces up to 10 years of sentence for vehicular homicide under the Motor Vehicles and Transport Management Act. Meanwhile, Malla claims to have a driving license issued from Nepal but has not provided the license to authorities.
हाम्रो प्रारम्भिक अनुसन्धानमा अहिले चालकले पनि स्वीकार गरेको अवस्था चाहिँ के छ भन्दाखेरि बिहान रातभरि नसुतेको अनि ड्रिङ्क गरेको र बिहान अलिकता गाडी चाहिँ चलाउने क्रममा घाम लागेपछि निन्द्रा लागेर चाहिँ एउटा सुतेको अवस्था.
According to Nepal police, the victim's family is to receive a compensation of 10 million rupees. Reportedly, the victim's family has already received 5.7 million rupees and will be receiving the rest of the compensation later. But since the police have already filed a case, Malla is certain to be taken to the court. This raises the question as to why either of the parties sought to settle the case outside the court despite the fact that the court would still order for a compensation amount after trial. It also sets a precedent that a guilty party could easily escape action in exchange for money. Based on the data by the traffic police, a total of 46,697 accidents were registered between the fiscal years 2011-12 to 2018-19. Out of the total number of road accidents, 1,627 accidents were due to drunk drivers. 283 accident cases of the kind were reported in the previous fiscal year alone.
Many people from affluent backgrounds have escaped justice in the past despite the gravity of the cases. There is a general call for the government and concerned authorities to implement stricter rules for monitoring traffic regulations and to handle this case without impartiality. With Praveen Gawali on camera, this is Sazala Michane for Kantipur TV, Kathmandu.
And it's now time for international update. Boeing company has fired its chief executive Dennis Muilenburg in a bid to restore confidence in the firm after 2 deadly crashes involving its 737 MAX planes. More than 340 people died in the disasters, prompting accusations that Boeing put profit before safety. Families of the victims welcomed Muilenburg's resignation as overdue. But they said Boeing's decision to replace him with a long-time board member raised questions about its commitment to change. Boeing named David Callahan, who has served on the firm's board since 2009 and in its current chairman as its chief executive and president. Boeing has been under intense scrutiny since 2 737 MAX planes crashed within 5 months of each other, first in Indonesia and then in Ethiopia. The 737 MAX fleet has been grounded worldwide ever since. While the company had been hoping to have the best-selling jet back in the air by the end of this year, US regulators have made it clear that it would not be certified to return to the skies that quickly. Last week, Boeing said it would halt production of the aircraft. Last Friday, the company's reputation took another hit when its Starliner spacecraft suffered technical problems that prevented it from taking the right path to the International Space Station. And we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for another short break. And in our public voice segment, we had asked the parents in Rukum district what kind of education would they want their children to have. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
अहिलेको बढ्दो सूचना प्रविधिलाई उपयोग गर्दै आफ्नो शिक्षामा त्यसलाई कसरी प्रभावकारी कार्यान्वयन गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरालाई चाहिँ जोड दिनुपर्छ।
देश दुनिया र चाहिँ जगतलाई बदल्ने खालको शिक्षा हाम्रो सन्ततिले सिक्नुपर्छ।
घर व्यवहारमाथि काम गर्दा बच्चा-बच्चीहरूले धेरै जसो बोल्न जानेका हुन्नन्, धेरै जस्तो पढाइ लेखाइमा पनि ध्यान दिएका हुन्नन्। पढाइ लेखाइमाथि अलि राम्रोसित ध्यान दिउन्, बोल्ने भाषा तरिका अलि राम्रोसित बोलौँ।
व्यक्तिगत सरसफाइको कुराहरू विशेष गरेर चाहिँ नङ कसरी चाहिँ काट्ने, आँखाको चाहिँ सरसफाइ कसरी गर्ने, कपाल चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ सरसफाइ गर्ने, अनि हामीले चाहिँ ब्रस चाहिँ कसरी गर्ने, यस्ता कुराहरूमा चाहिँ बढी सिक्नुपर्छ।
आफूभन्दा सानोलाई माया गरेर बोल्न सिकौँ, आफूभन्दा ठुलालाई आदर गरेर समान तरिकाले बोल्न सिकौँ।
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what is the reason behind the debate on providing compensation after the acquisition of land? And options are A, prevalence of vested interest, B, glitches in land ownership process, and option C, lack of unified compensation policy. The voting for the question is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share opinion with us. And let's move on to sports update.
Sports news.
Defending champions Manang Marsyangdi Club won their second consecutive match at the Martyrs Memorial A Division League, defeating Tribhuvan Army Club by a solitary goal. In the match played at the Dasal Stadium in Tripureshwar yesterday, Nanda Singh scored the only goal of the match in injury time. With the win, Manang Marsyangdi have secured 6 points from 2 matches to climb to the top of the league table. In yesterday's second match played at the Dasal Stadium, 3-star club blanked Nepal Police Club 1-0. Sushil Rai scored the solitary goal of the match in the 84th minute and sealed 3-stars win over Nepal Police Club. After yesterday's match, 3-star have secured 4 points while Nepal Police still have only 1 point. Chitwan Rhinos are taking on Kathmandu Goldens under Pokhara Premier League today. The match at Pokhara Cricket Ground is scheduled for 11:30 am kickoff. Chitwan Rhinos, led by Paras Khadka, the only unbeaten team of the tournament, will storm into the finals if they manage a win against Gyanendra Malla's Kathmandu Goldens. On the other side of the pitch, Kathmandu Goldens are desperate for a win as they had started the tournament badly with 2 losses but found their form with 2 wins in the last 2 matches. Kathmandu will be looking for a win to ensure their place in the playoffs. If they lose the match today, their journey in the tournament will depend upon the result of the last match between Butwal Blasters and Biratnagar. And with that, it's now time for our special segment, Sports Buzz.
Likewise, Chelsea tightened the grip in the top 4 finish in the English Premier League with an emphatic 2-0 win over Tottenham. The win, however, was marred by allegations of racist abuse. Willian's first half double moved Chelsea 4 points clear of 5th place Sheffield United in the race for the final Champions League qualifying spot. Tottenham finished with 10 men after Son Heung-min was shown a red card for kicking out at Chelsea's Antonio Rudiger, who was then the victim of the alleged racist incident. Meanwhile, Manchester United suffered a 2-0 loss at the hands of Watford to languish at the 8th position in the league standings. The loss has severely dented their hopes of finishing in the top 4 finish in the league standings and a spot for the Champions League.
And before we wrap up this morning news bulletin, here's a look at the top stories one more time. The Parliament's Public Accounts Committee to investigate the government's decision to lease Nepal Trust land to Yeti Group at a minimum price. Massive foul play suspected. Police arrest over 120 Chinese nationals from the capital over allegations of suspicious activities. Arrest raises several questions. Boeing fires a chief executive in a bid to restore confidence in the firm after 2 deadly crashes involving 737 MAX plane. Victims' families welcomed the move. And Chitwan Rhinos taking on Kathmandu Goldens in a crucial tie on the Pokhara Premier League. Kathmandu in a must-win situation. And those were our latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will be at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Good day.